Well, hey there, greetings, good evening. This is Ancy coming at you. Thanks for joining me in this video. And if you're coming in at the replay level, just write in hashtag replay and any thoughts or comments you may have. So this is especially directed to people who are building a team or have a team of people within their business, and that their team is very integral to their business growth and success. So that's specifically who this conversation is for. And it's for people who can really understand and appreciate the value of what a team can do for them. So with that being said, I am going to do a review, and it's going to actually be a series. And I just went through this book, Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, and I'm just going to break it down a bit because inside my leadership circle, Leader Circle, which you're free to join, that is AnnSiegMentor.com, is I just did a 1 hour review of this book, all right? All in one session. So go to Ann Sieg Mentor for that. And then it was very interesting. I actually have a mastermind group, and we went into it in much greater depth, and it was very, very fascinating, the conversations that came out of that mastermind. So what I'm going to do, again, this is a series, so I'm going to go into this first one. Basically, here's what's going on in the workplace. For one, there is a shortage of workers, and furthermore, to drill down even deeper, there is a shortage of qualified workers. Drill down just a little bit more, and there is a huge issue with engagement of workers within the workplace. It's down to 32%. As was reported by Gallup. So 32% of the workplace are people who are, actively engaged in the work they're doing when they show up at work. So that means we have a serious problem within the workplace. And so I did go through that in depth in my recent training session, is these rather profound results that people are not being satisfied at work, and hence they disengage. They're not giving their best. They're not giving their all into the business that, if you have this team working for you. And that's a big problem, isn't it? So hence the need. I believe there is a very strong need for a shift in the marketplace for how people lead their teams. And there's plenty of leadership training going on this topic, and yet I'm a firm believer that leadership is caught more than it's taught. So anytime you can be in a place where you actually see excellent leadership within a team, it's a great place to be, just to learn from that, in the presence of that in motion. So anyways, I'm going to go through this series, and it's just kind of some general rules. I hate to use the word rules, points of aspiration, how about that, we'll say, to consider as you are leading a team, and you can think of it just for yourself. So the first one that I gleaned out of the book is that leaders protect from above. You think of the typical leadership, the pyramid, there's the leader at the top and all the workers underneath, right? So the leader is protecting from above in this regard. So Simon Sinek's background is he's an anthropologist, and so it's all about understanding the biological drivers of people. And one of the most profound is a sense of safety and well-being. And when people feel threatened that their well-being is not in consideration, and like in the workplace, that it's just a non-issue, a non-factor of their well-being, they may check out, and they may want to go to a place where they can feel more cultured and nurtured and cared for and considered for what they bring to your business and being truly valued. And I think that's really the biggest thing in life, is that sense of I bring value and I bring contribution. And when you feel like you have no value, it's one of the most empty and lonely places in all of humanity, is I have no value. I don't enhance anything. I don't better anything. I just exist. And that their existence feels meaningless. There's nothing worse than that. And so because Americans are known for their big work hours, is all the more the need for there to be a sense of value. Okay, So again, before I go on, make sure you go to AnnSiegMentor.com, and that's going to take you directly into my private leadership group, okay? So good leaders have the best interest of their people in mind and protect them from external threats. The best interest. So one might consider that as the CEO of your team, of your company, that you have an awareness of the people who are working for you. What do they like? What are their passions? Where do you see their strengths come through? Actually, looking at them more as an individual instead of they're just fitting into this work position and they just darn well better get it done. That's a very narrow scope of what a person can actually bring into a business, especially if you dig deeper to find out what their interests are and their passions, which brings me to one of my favorite quotes of all time is, learning is not the filling of a bucket, but the lighting of a fire. And in my team, I'm looking for those fires. I want to see where they just really sparkle and shine. Granted, I hire them for a specific role and responsibility, but I'm still looking for that. Because I can tell you, my company has gotten to where it's at because I build it around the strengths of my team. My team has become who we are by that fact that I'm keenly aware of their unique abilities, those things that make them shine, that make them happy, make them feel satisfied. You pick it up in the tone. They're like, oh, whoa, okay, he's excited about that. Or you can tell with some other things, so not his interest. All right, now I want to we'll give this a wrap. I'm going to get into the external threats. There will always be external threats. Always, always, always. In life, that is just the nature of the beast. People who run from, anything that is a threat will not make it in life, and especially in business. In fact, one of the principles that will be forthcoming is leaders rush to danger. They rush right into the face of danger, and you go, wow, that's a pretty twisted person that can do that. Well, that's what a real leader does. They're able to just go, okay, there it is. All right, let's just go knock her down and become more and more fearless. Hey there, good afternoon to you, Greg. I'm just going through some of the guiding principles of a book that we just went through in the mastermind that you were in, for the benefit of those who weren't able to get into my class, but they still need to go to AnnSiegMentor.com to listen to the rest. Anyway, so leaders who protect from above and external threats. Here's how I personally do that. I need to be on the cusp of my business. I need to be future casting. I need to see a vision of the future and where things are going for my business. And likewise for any business owner, that is in part how you protect from above, is the uniqueness of your industry and the challenges that you have. And then you need to be ahead of those. So they're coming and you're staying current with whatever they are. If you're working in a cleaning kind of business and maybe there's some new hazardous warnings and who knows what all. Or just anything at all relative to a particular industry. My husband and I had a windshield replacement industry and we had to stay current. That is part of protecting from above, staying current. Here's my other thing that I have found really helps my team, my organization of my corporate staff, is building business friendships. I can't build enough, and I wish I had, there you go, I shouldn't say wish, but I know I need to be doing more of that because that helps protect my team from above. The more I build out, and I'm just speaking relative to my industry. So one, knowing the shifts, what's coming up ahead, how to be ahead of this, the danger signs, and also the forecasting of, there's good things to come. That is protecting from above, but also the business networks and friendships. For me personally, that had a profound impact on my business, is building business friendships. The more I do that, the more it betters my team because I call it the brain trust. So I build this brain trust, and granted, we're an intellectual property company. It's basically what we do. We create intellectual property. We teach and train people. And so all the more I need that brain trust. So everybody's industry is different relative to what are the kind of the assets within your business, so to speak. But for me, that is how I protect from above, is staying ahead of, changes in the law, which is always happening, right? There's always impact in industry. I don't care what industry you're in, there will always be some new laws and legislation that come in and affect your industry. Every single one of them. There's no one who's exempt from that one. But staying progressive as a leader of your business is to stay in tune with your industry. What's coming? What's shaking down? How do I need to shift and change? And then beyond that, as you drill down, and again with an eye towards protecting your team members, is how it impacts them with their specific role. And then what I want to do is to help them stay current and ahead of the game by giving them resources to strengthen their capabilities for the task that they've been given. So I'm going to give you a very specific piece of advice that I do within my team. All right, so I have an executive team, and part of our process is they will send me these reports, an online report, a summary that I have delineated. Here's the main things that I want reported on every week. And I go through that, and one is one of the challenges you're facing. I want to know. Tell me. I don't want to have it, a year later you're telling me the challenges that you're having when, in your position, in your role with me and serving me in my company. So I want to know these challenges. And then I want to know about what resources are going to help them to do a better job. Because how can they perform to their best ability if I'm not showing them up with the best resources to make them be as good as they can be? So we have, for example, what's called the next critical hire. And so I'm watching, and they put in their reports, and I'm keeping a pulse and a tab, so to speak, on my executive team, because then they've got several people underneath them. And the better I can nurture them, the better the job they can do as they build their teams underneath them within my staff. And so that is protecting them from above. They report in, and I'm watching, and I just filled a new position for one of my team members. He'd been asking for something very specific for probably 4 or 5 months, and I'm like, okay, we're going to fill that need. And so that's what we did. We just did a new hire so that was taken care of, and it wasn't causing as much stress and angst for this particular team member, for his role and his responsibility. That's my job. My job is to give them the tools, the resources to help them do as awesome a job as they possibly can in their position. So that's my summary for protection from above and having the best interests of your people in mind and protecting them from external threats. And here's another thing too. Wouldn't you want it to be thought of by your staff that, man, here's a place where I am cared for, they're paying attention to my needs, they shore it up, I'm sticking here. I pay attention to my people. I want to make sure that their needs are being met, So that's what I do for protecting from above. All right, so in conclusion, if you have any thoughts, go ahead and write in the comment section below, and then make sure you go to ansigmentor.com to join me in my leadership community. So I'm going to sign off for now. Have an awesome evening. Bye-bye.